joined, this is the last Sunday of a series here called To Be Continued. After Jesus rose from the grave, he hung around a little bit before he went up to heaven with God our Father up there. And he talked to a few people and did a few things. So today we're going to look at it, that while the grave was there, the grave was empty as they went into it. But what exactly did he accomplish before he left, and who did he talk to? So today we're looking at Peter. He stopped and he addressed Peter. So we're going to take a look at that passage and see exactly what it is we can pull out of that. So first of all, let's kind of do a quick review of Peter, first of all. So kind of some of Peter's history. I've read several different passages, and they called him either Simon Peter. Sometimes it says his original name is Simon. Nonetheless, Jesus called him Peter. To Jesus, his name was Peter. All right? He was a fisherman, and that's where he got called by Jesus to, hey, stop fishing for fish and come, and I'm going to teach you to be a fisher of men. All right? And as soon as he got that call from Jesus, he dropped everything, left everything, and he went. You can see down here, he was an impulsive and an emotional person. So as soon as he heard that from Jesus, he went. He had the faith to walk on water. We talked about that, I think, maybe last week. The boat was in peril, and they called out to Jesus, and Jesus said, "Come out to me." Peter actually stepped out of the boat and walked on water. But then a few seconds later, he got filled with doubt, and he began sinking. He also chopped off the ear of a guard when they came to arrest Jesus. You can see that impulsiveness of somebody ran up to grab Jesus. He pulled out his sword and took off his ear. That was a pretty impressive move right there, huh? Off with the ear. And then, so he's there protecting Jesus, guarding Jesus, and then Jesus said, "Peter, you are going to deny me 3 times by tomorrow morning." By the time you hear the crow. So that word like deny, betray, one of the very, very strong things here, and not once or twice, but 3 times, and that all came to pass there, just like it happened. So there's a little review of Peter, looking at Peter here. But this story is really about redemption or redeeming, is what Jesus did for Peter. So let's look at what is redemption. It's the act of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. The action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. So Jesus is our Redeemer. Jesus redeems us, saving us from sin and evil. Jesus regains us because of the price he paid. All right? So now let's look at this passage here. So this is, they met up with Jesus. They know who Jesus is, so they understand him. It's not like Jesus, it's not like he was in front of them. They didn't know who he was, okay? So we're going to pick it up right there. It says in John chapter 21. It says, after breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Master, you know I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." He then asked him a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Master, you know I love you." Then Jesus said, "Shepherd my sheep." And then he said it a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was upset, and he asked for the third time, "Do you love me?" So he answered, "Master, you know everything there is to know. You've got to know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. I'm telling you the very truth now. When you were young, you dressed yourself and went wherever you wished. But when you get old, you'll have to stretch out your hands while someone else dresses you and takes you where you don't want to go." He said this to hint at the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And then he commanded, "Follow me." So there's our passage. There's the interaction between Jesus and Peter. So a couple of things I want to look at here is, the first thing is that Jesus calls us by name. And think about that for a second. This is the Son of God sent to earth to personally know us, to personally know our names, so that there's a personal relationship there. It's not just, "Hey, Americans," it's not, "Hey, humans." It's by name. It's, "Hey, Gary," "Hey, Ryan," "Hey, Phil." That's how Jesus knows us. He knows us by name. Now I want you to know that Jesus calls us by name. Helps us along, right, with life, right? Helps correct us, helps guide us. But it's probably a little different than the way that, kind of like the way your mother calls your name. That way. Keith, Dwayne, every time they add the middle name, you'd probably be in trouble. You know what I'm talking about here, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been called the two names here, first and middle? Yeah. Mothers, right? Is that a technique in your mother book that you use? Right? Well, see, Jesus calls us the same way. Jesus calls us out by name. Hey, Johnny, I need you to do this for me. Hey, Doris, can you send me a text? She was on her phone right when I said that. But the passage is that we look at it, says after breakfast, Jesus said, Simon Peter, Simon, son of John. So he went back to the Simon before he knew Jesus, was called Simon by his friends and called after the transformation that only happens through Jesus, now his name is Peter. So Jesus goes back to Peter. So he talked about that, kind of reminding Peter, hey, Peter, remember, it was you and I. We did this together. I'm with you. I'm calling you by name. Wasn't the first time they called him? Let's look at the story here real quick. Matthew chapter 4 is when Jesus called him to follow him. He's walking by the Sea of Galilee. He saw two brothers, and they were Simon. His other name was Peter, and Andrew, his brother. They were putting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, follow me, I will make you fish for men. And at once, they left the nets and followed him. So Jesus could be very well calling your name by name, calling you specifically to do something for him. And it doesn't matter what you did before. Remember, this is after Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Said, I don't even know the guy 3 times. Right? Jesus still said, even though I know everything that happened, even though I know you doubted when you walked on the water, even though you made those mistakes, don't worry, I still need you to follow me. Next thing is that Jesus knows everything about you. Everything. There's nothing we can hide from Jesus. He knows everything about us, just like he knew everything about Peter. Now, you see, it's funny that this is Mother's Day, and this is what we're talking about, because mothers know everything about you, don't they? They have that eye in the back of their head or on the sides of their heads. I don't even know where they are, but they see and know everything. Do you agree with me on this? Yeah. So like that time you fell in the toilet and got stuck, they knew about that. That's not my brother. It's my dad. No, it's not. Or maybe that time you thought it was a good idea to add electricity to your pool. That's not my brother either. Or that time you backed your car out of the driveway. You see, about that. Oh, come on, it's a little funny, right? Come on. It's a little warm. You have to stand up and stretch. Or that tattoo you got that really just never don't give up. It made sense. Never don't give up. Never do not give up. Never. I mean, I guess it's right, but just never give up, right? Or that time you asked your mom to watch the dog for you. Yeah, moms know a lot about this. Everything maybe might be a stretch. Jesus knows everything. So we go back to that story here. It says, Master, you know everything there is. All right, go ahead. There we go. Everything there is to know. You've got to know that I love you. You've got to know it. And it's funny that Jesus asked him, how many times did he love him? 3. 3 times. How many times did Peter deny Jesus? 3 times. So we have that connection there of Jesus lovingly, redeeming Peter. And have you ever been asked that, especially by a loved one, a very important question, and they keep asking you like they don't believe you, and they keep asking you, and then finally the 3rd time you just want to yes, I love you. That's kind of the same thing Peter did. He even said there he got angry, he was upset about it, that he asked him 3 times, you're questioning my loyalty, you're questioning about me. But Jesus kept asking, are you sure? Do you know? Do you love me? Luke 12:7 just reminds us of how much God knows about us. God knows how many hairs you have on your head. He says, do not be afraid. Jesus knows us each and every week. He knows everything about us. He knows us from our name to the hairs on our head to everything about us. Our hopes, our dreams, our fears, our mistakes. And He also still forgives and loves us. It doesn't matter what we've done. It doesn't matter how we've acted. If we turn our lives to Jesus, ask Him into our heart. He loves us. He loves us even before that, right? He's been working in our lives all along. He forgives us and He loves us. There isn't anything we can do to lose that. And finally, Jesus commands, even still today, He says, follow me. 2 simple words, just follow me. So Jesus is asking, hey, whatever's going on in life, follow me. I've got some plans for you. I've got some work I need you to do for me. I need you to go over here and help this family. I need you to go over here and help these friends. Or let's work on your relationships. Jesus commands to follow me. So you see, despite all of our screw-ups, our faults, our failures, Jesus still calls us to His work. There isn't one person in the Bible that you can go through and go, wow, this guy is just perfect. No wonder Jesus asked him to work with him. Each and every person had faults and failures and mistakes along the way. And that's why Jesus is our Redeemer. He comes along and He's paid the price to save us from sin, to save us from evil. Luke 20:34 says, Jesus said, I tell you, Peter, a rooster will not crow today before you will say 3 times that you do not know me. And Jesus still commanded him to follow me. So the whole story is that Peter messed up big time. He denied Him. Not to mention all the other stuff that's going on in his life. But then Jesus comes back to him and says, Peter, we got it all straight now. You've been redeemed. Don't worry about it. I need you to continue to do your work for me. I know you love me. I've asked you about it. I've called you by name. I know every mistake. I know everything you've done. And it's okay. Jesus still says, I love you. And then He says, will you follow me? Would you have a word of prayer with me tonight? Our dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time of coming together. We thank you for this special day. This day as we reflect on how our mothers have molded us and how they have made us, even of all the mistakes we've made, how much they continue to love all of us. And Lord, we think about your love. We think about how many mistakes we've made for you, but you continually take us back and receive us. Lord, we thank you for that. Because you know everything. You know how much we mess up. And even when we're trying our best, sometimes we'll just lose it. We say the wrong things or think the wrong things, even do the wrong things. Lord, you are our Redeemer. You are our friend, somebody who knows us by name. Lord, we just thank you for that special closeness that you offer. Lord, if that's something that somebody wants in their heart tonight, we invite you in to say, Lord, I want you in my heart, and I want to follow you, just like you commanded to follow me. Lord, I'm sorry for the way I lived life, and I'm going to try so much better to follow you so much closer. Come into my heart, Lord, and live there, fill it up, and push out the yuck and the negativity. And fill every space with you, in your love. We thank you for this precious time together, Lord. We thank you for renewing us, for filling us, redeeming us with your Son. And it's His name in which we do pray. Amen. Our next act of worship is our offering time. And the way we do our offering here is there's round brown baskets on the tables. If you pass those around your table, make sure you put in your yellow checking card in your offering. Extend that out to people who are sitting at the seats. I appreciate it. And then when your table is done, bring that basket right on up front here and set it on the stage. I have a little video here of Tim Hawkins is a Christian comedian. And so he's talking about moms in this particular clip. So sit back and enjoy.
There's one message out there, I don't know, I think it's for the fathers out there. You guys, some of you guys are married and your wife stays home with the kids all day. When you get home from work, she needs a break. You know, she just needs to go somewhere. Yeah, that's the truth. Now, I've been married 15 years, I learned that the hard way. Came in from a 3-day trip, I walk in the door and my wife's just sitting there waiting. Honey, I'm home. Yeah, open up. Can I have a hug? What's the problem? You need to take the kids somewhere. And you need to do it now. Okay. Where do you want me to take them? I don't give a rip where you take them. Just get out of here. Okay, let's get in the car. She said, get in the car! We're gonna go. We'll be back in June. So I get my kids in the car, man, we're just sitting there. I didn't know where to go. I took them to Home Depot. I didn't know what to do. You know, that's where guys find peace, at the Home Depot. Just look at hammers for a while, you know? That was not the right choice that particular day. Folks, you can't let your kids run off at the Home Depot. Because I don't know, you have not lived your life till you turn the corner at a Home Depot and see your youngest son using a display toilet. Real here. There's a Kodak moment for you right there. Any of your parents got an answer for that little quandary? James Dobson, why don't you focus on my family for a while? Mr. Smarty Pants. He's going to town, he don't care, the manager's looking right at me. I'm like, hey. Yeah, that's my boy. Should be done in a minute. Here.